Looking ahead, we do expect to see a continued sequential growth trend in revenues throughout 2021.
Hello, welcome back to the last part of my 5 stocks to buy right now. Gilat is a global 5G services provider that I've been long on since January, and I initiated a position at $9, watched it spike all the way up to $22 and fall all the way back to $8 in mid-May. The bottom seems to have been reached, and it's regained close to, if not $10 by the time this video comes out. Why am I so bullish on Gilat? And what do I see coming after reviewing their latest earnings, recent news, and their most recent investor presentation? Stay tuned for this and more. Keep it simple. For those of you new to the channel, I am the Simple Trader, and I bring to you WEPG stocks. Yes, explosive exponential potential growth stocks that I'm looking to buy or already have sitting in my Freedom portfolio. I am not a financial advisor, so please note this is all for entertainment only. No more plugging. Let's start drilling. In this video, we will focus a bit on the recent investor presentation released in May that gives me huge insights into what the company is doing and where they're going. Essentially, as they put it, Gilat are a world leader in satellite networking technology solutions and services. If this is the first time you have heard of Gilat,
who are you?
Then this summary should give you a quick insight into what they do. They have 2 main streams of business, and that is fixed networks and mobility solutions. And as we can see, there is a huge diversity in the application and therefore the target consumer market, which is broad and wide-ranging. As the next slide tells us, they are present in over 100 countries with over 300 customers and 900 networks. Some of their customer base is quite extraordinary, with T-Mobile, Vodafone, SoftBank and Rakuten, to name a few. Gilat presents 5 points of growth that they forecast in the coming months ahead, and they are in IFC, in-flight connectivity. It is inevitable, I think, that once COVID-19 is under control, that air traffic will recover. We are already seeing some signs of recovery in some countries in the world, but it is still a long way to go. I think this will be a big rebound play for Gilat in the future, which is probably why they put it right at the top position. 5G is growing and is growing big, as I discussed in previous Gilat videos. This market is, I think, in its infancy stage and is still growing exponentially, for example in China. According to Gilat, they have 80% market share of the current 4G satellite backhaul, and with the 5G backhaul market expanding rapidly, they should look to capture huge market shares in this too. Gilat are well positioned with their high speeds greater than 1 gigabits per second, utilizing their wideband technology, their satellite ground segment integration, and the low latency that is offered by their NGSO baseband.
We've been getting ready for the big 5G build out for years. It really got rolling last year, but now it's got the momentum we need to invest in.
There is huge current capital spending in the satellite industry, and that means huge potential for Gilat to supply their gateway solid-state power amplifiers. The potential they note here is over $50 million. The military SATCOM network's potential market value is expected to go close to $1 billion by 2025. Gilat already have significant wins in the last 6 months with US defense departments alone. The future here is looking very positive. And finally, their investment style business, such as their Peru initiative, which will secure recurring revenues, could provide a solid backbone to their business moving forwards. And they state they are targeting recurring revenues of greater than 50 million by the end of next year. If they start achieving these milestones, I think we really need to factor these into our bullish case.
All in. 40,500,000 all in.
Okay, let's look at the numbers. Here, they confirmed what I've been piecing together in my previous videos, which is that 2021 revenues will be significantly higher than 2020. However, bear in mind, 2020 was no disaster at all, considering the IFC part of their business was basically destroyed. They do, however, say that 2021 will likely be a transitional year as we look to recovery from COVID-19. Strictly speaking, the revenues from Q1 increased from Q4 2020, but we should bear in mind the COVID-19, and that is why I believe that the 2020 earnings are far from disastrous, and why Q1 2021 was so significant. Why? Because in Q1 2020, before the full effects of COVID-19, they actually made a net income loss of $11.8 million, and they managed to cut this by over half to a loss of only $5.1 million. Another highlight worth noting for me is they fully managed to close out their debt. In the investor presentation, they are predicting a CAGR of 19% for equipment and a CAGR of 16% for capacity, service and equipment for their 5G connectivity.
We expect that NGSO and cellular backhaul will be the main market segment that will drive growth in 2021 and beyond.
I come to what I believe is a much more conservative 15% growth rate over the next 5 years, which will then halve to get a 10-year cash flow projection. Let's put the terminal growth rate, or simply the implied rate after the 10 years, at half of that again. Discount rate. Think of it as the impact of inflation and other factors that can come into play on your investments. And I always stick to 12%. Always stick to the same discount rate when you want to compare stocks. Otherwise, you can't really do apples for apples. With zero debt reported in Q1, we then come to an intrinsic value of around $18. With a 20% margin of safety factored in, we are still talking $14. That means, in my opinion, from the DCF alone, the stock, based on just the numbers and my assumptions, is undervalued by over 75%, and even with a 20% safety factor, that puts it at 41% potential upside on the stock. This is why, for me, this stock is a no-brainer for a long hold right now. Since the first quarter earnings, there have been more contract wins for Gilat. On the 20th of May, Gilat was awarded over $4 million in orders for support of LEO, low Earth orbit constellations. This win belongs to Wavestream, who are a subsidiary of Gilat. On the 26th of May, Gilat extends a multi-million-dollar IoT project in Latin America. This is a Tier 1 MNO, mobile network operator, who extends coverage of Gilat's cellular backhaul solution to expand its agriculture IoT network. This shows the diverse markets that Gilat are now penetrating in throughout the world. Finally, on the 3rd of June, Gilat was awarded a $13 million contract by Pronatal for delivery of internet services to hundreds of sites in Peru. What's critical is what the chief executive of Pronatal said, which is this service is the first of 4 regions, meaning there are still 3 more to come. That's a huge potential cash cow in the future for Gilat. To summarize, my conviction in Gilat had grown a lot stronger once they released the latest earnings.
Moreover, looking into 2022, we believe that it will be a year of significant growth for our company as our NGSO projects will materialize, and we believe that IFC will recover.
I believe this company will climb back up significantly, but only when the market enters into some form of regularity. The current market is just blowing up left, right and center on the back of the GME AMC moves.
Big question, how much pain can one person take? Clearly a lot if you're a short seller of the so-called meme stocks. 10 of the most shorted stocks brought losses for those short sellers to the tune of almost $5 billion in one day.
No one really knows how or when these squeeze plays will end. But what's certain is looking longer term at Gilat, I think any investor has to be a little patient here, and 3 to 5 years is a fairly safe period for this growth stock to explode. But please remember, do your own due diligence before you look to invest any of your hard-earned money. Thank you for watching, and remember, I'm extremely bullish on Gilat stock moving forward, so please do take this video with precaution. If you need more analysis into the actual company, please check out my previous videos on Gilat. If you're interested in other WPG stocks that I have in my Freedom portfolio, please check out my other videos. If you enjoyed my 5 stocks to load up right now, then please stay tuned as I have some interesting new plays lined up, and I will be sharing those deep drills with you next. So please consider just consider subscribing to my channel so you get the information first. I am the Simple Trader, and I try to keep this simple, and will simply see you next time.